And three different teams of paramedics have been struck in southern Lebanon as Israel pressed ahead with its aerial and ground war in the country. Lebanon's health ministry said that the attacks killed 3 paramedics and left a 4th medic missing. 6 others were wounded. Now, according to the ministry, a team from the Islamic Health Association was attacked as it tried to rescue people from the site of an Israeli attack in the town of Mefadun in the Nabatea region. 1 paramedic was killed and the 2nd remains missing. When a 2nd team from the association headed to the site, it was attacked as well, and 3 paramedics were wounded. Then 2 ambulances of the Risala Scout Association and the Nabatea Ambulance Service had been deployed to the site. They were also attacked, 2 paramedics were killed and 3 others were wounded. The Israeli military did not immediately respond to the incident. It comes a day after the Israeli and Lebanese envoys held more than 2 hours of talks, mediated by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. United Nations welcomed the talks, warning that continued hostilities are increasing humanitarian needs. Listen to this.
The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs tells us that a growing number of casualties and continued hostilities continue to drive humanitarian needs higher across the country. More than 1.2 million people have been displaced by the crisis. Across southern and eastern Lebanon, dozens of locations are being hit daily by Israeli strikes. Reports indicate that at least 35 villages in the south were struck yesterday, with extensive damage to residential areas.
Israel's military chief of staff said that he has ordered areas south of Lebanon's Litani River to be turned into a Hezbollah kill zone as troops pressed a major offensive there. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the country's military continues to strike and was about to overcome what he described as the group's stronghold on Bint Jbeil. Netanyahu also outlined Israel's top priority in talks with Lebanon.
In the negotiations with Lebanon, there are 2 central objectives. First, the dismantling of Hezbollah. Second, a sustainable peace. Peace achieved through strength.
According to reports, Israel's Security Cabinet convened on Wednesday to discuss a possible Lebanon ceasefire. More than 6 weeks into a war with Hezbollah that spiraled out of the U.S.-Israel war with Iran. A U.S. official has told Axios that U.S. President would welcome and be happy with an end to hostilities.
The Israeli military today launched 3 consecutive attacks on 3 different teams of paramedics, all operating in the southern Lebanese town of Mefadun. And what we heard from the Lebanese health ministry was that first there was a paramedic team that, as is normal, responded to an emergency call. They were going to the site of an Israeli airstrike where there were wounded people they needed to rescue. And as they were arriving to Mefadun, they were hit by an Israeli drone strike, killing 2 paramedics at that site and wounding others. And then the paramedics sent yet another team in order to rescue that first team. And as they were arriving to the town, another Israeli strike hit that team and wounded 3 of those paramedics. So then the civil defense decided to send yet a 3rd team in order to rescue the first and the 2nd teams. They were also hit when arriving to the town. Another 2 paramedics were killed in that 3rd strike and more were wounded.